let's get cracking on this then. So welcome everybody, Ed here, and I'm very excited today to bring you, in whatever medium listening to this, if you're listening to the podcast or watching the video, a good mate of mine, Justin Brooke, the handsome man who you can see here live, and also this is myself, Justin, and the power behind the throne, Shana, at adskills.com. And we were there at Todd Brown's E5, which is the first chance I really got to hang out with Justin, and it was fantastic. And Justin's really the go-to guy when it comes to training people in all the different methodologies of getting ads, and he has an amazing training network. And I think something that I definitely want to talk to all of you, because I personally believe these days that unless you have a passion for doing ads and that's what you want to do, I think there's too much to understand. There's too much to do it yourself and be a business owner at the same time. So I thought it'd be fascinating to get Justin on, get his views about this. And what prompted this was Justin did a article at the start of the year, as many people do, with a list of 5 things that he thinks are the advertising trends. So I thought we'd go through those, because there's 2 of them that, there's 3 of them that I'm certainly not doing, but 2 of them I'd never heard of, but I thought were genius. So I thought, this is great. Let's get Justin on and do that. So welcome, Justin.
Oh, thanks for having me on, man. And I think what you said about having somebody else do it, like even myself in my own business, I don't run the other parts of my business. I only do the ads marketing side, because you're right, there is too much to do. Yeah.
It's just ads are fascinating, and I think and look, when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, you think, okay, yeah, you do have to, you do your own traffic and you do it, but as soon, the moment you can flick that switch to having somebody who loves this stuff and is like a dog at a bone at it, it's crucial. And that's, and I noticed something that's something I've noticed about Justin for years, and I was searching for your email, and I actually came across an email you sent me in 2007 when we were talking about buying and selling websites 11 years ago. So that, but
I was not the nicest guy in my earlier years.
And we were researching buying and selling websites, and you are like a dog at a bone. And the most impressive, honestly though, your most impressive feat, as far as I'm concerned, is that you actually got a victory royale in Fortnite, which is a computer game here that I've only ever got 2. But I think there's a metaphor here, which is that, I think you wrote here, you spent whatever it was, how many hours, it was like 12 hours, and how many matches to get this number 1, right? Which is, I still haven't got it, right? And that's what you need. It's that tenacity for advertising and research, because there's stuff that is changing all the time. And we may touch on this a bit later on. There's a huge hullabaloo right now about Facebook. And speaking of, 2006, I was the person who termed the phrase Google slap back in 2006. That was the first big one. And history repeats again and again and again. When AdSense made Google unusable, the summer of 2006, everybody jumped into AdSense. They created these automated sites, and you couldn't find a actual listing. All you could find was the AdSense. And I've never seen so much money made in such a short period of time. Like, it's unbelievable. But Google slap happened, and off we go. And there's been a Facebook slap this week. But let's focus forward, okay? Let's get into this, and let's look at the 5 predictions here. And of course, hours and weeks of preparation, I've done these slides. So if you happen to be watching on the stream, I've got slides, and I'll put a link in the show notes for the podcast where you can get these. But our first number 1, if you like, traffic source prediction, Justin, was Google AdWords ad targeting your brand keywords. So just, assume a relative beginner. What are you doing there?
All right. So this is like if someone searches, I'm just going to use my own company,
Yeah.
as an example. If someone's searching for ad skills, Justin Brooke, bulletproof FB ads, any of these brand keywords, I should show up number one, not even just number one for organic. Like, that should be a given. If you don't show up for your own name organically, you have trouble. But I want to show up in the paid place as well as a defensive strategy so that my competitors are not taking that spot. And then also just because that's like free money on the table. People are, the days of like the linear sale where they just go add, sales page, buy are gone. You look through Walmart and you see people staring at their phones. It's because they're looking up the reviews on the towel before they buy the towel,
Yep.
And so the same thing happens online. And so they go searching for you after they hear about you. And you have this amazing opportunity that Google has given you to tell them, that person who's searching about you, whatever you want to tell them.
Yep.
And almost nobody's doing it.
And I'll tell you why the beginner mentality that is. You think, why should I pay for my own words? Google should be giving me my organic result for free. Why should I be paying money for this?
Yeah.
And that's what. And as you explained, this gives you certainty. Right, that and for a lot of and Ed, note to self, do niche style. So this is something like for me that I need to do. It's for all of my names because you control it, and that's the reality of it. And yes, it's their show, and if it's their show, you have to pay their ticket, right? So that's a theme I think that we'll constantly come back to as we go.
It should be extremely affordable because you shouldn't be allowing anybody else to bid on your brand keywords. So if somebody's bidding on your brand keywords and on your name in their ads, you could just tell Google and you can get them shut off. Yep. I have heard that they're allowed to bid on your keywords as long as they're not also saying anything on their landing page or their ad about you.
Yeah,
but they are still allowed to target that as a keyword.
Yeah,
depending on if you have trademarks and copyright.
Yeah. But that is a good point. Like if you're getting serious about it, you drop a trademark on those various things, and then there's nothing they could do. So it's you're advertising on it, and there's some defensive strategies that you can have. So that's number one. I love that. That is fantastic. Relatively straightforward. I think everybody gets that one. Okay, this one really tweaked. Number 2. YouTube ad targeting your competitors' channels. Talk to me about this, baby. This one really got my bat senses tingling.
Yeah, this one. Some people see this and they get like a grin across their face, and then other people see this and they're like, "Oh, that's so wrong. That's evil. You shouldn't be. Why are you even thinking about your competitors?" It's just like these are all of these 5 strategies to me were like, what's the lowest hanging fruit? Like, to me, I call it free money. It's not free because you have to pay for it, but the ROI is so good that it's like just finding money.
Yep.
And so YouTube ad targeting your competitors' channels. With YouTube ads, you have several different ways to target. You can target keywords, you can target topics, you can target placements. Well, a channel is a placement, just like you could target a specific video. Now, targeting a video can sometimes work out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. If you target a video before it goes viral, you get to ride that wave. But if you're targeting a viral video after it's kind of died down and now it's only getting 5 visitors per day, it's not that sexy anymore. So when I wanted to learn YouTube, I went after, like the highest guys I could find, six-pack shortcuts. They millions of dollars a year, a month on YouTube ads. And they told me the number one thing that they do is target channels. And so then I took it to competitor channels.
Yeah. And that is interesting because because in the old days you couldn't target a channel, so picking videos was a way to do it. But as you say, typically you're identifying videos already based on number of views, so you haven't got the viral effect. Yeah, as you say, they put out a new video, you don't have that viral effect. And your kids watch YouTube. My kids watch YouTube. Everybody's watching. I watch YouTube myself, right? A lot. And I ask everybody who's listening to this or watching this, how much has your YouTube consumption gone up or down in the last 12 months? And I'm guaranteeing everybody it's gone up, right? It absolutely has. So the brilliance of the channel strategy, as opposed to just the individual video, is every time they put out a new video, if they've got monetization, you can have your advertising attached to that. So you get the boost as people are going, initially getting to that video. And that's what's fascinating. As you say, you ride the coattails of when it's at its most viral, which is when they're producing.
You never know when they're going to put out that one video and it takes off. And then all of a sudden you have so many impressions.
And is there a particular ad unit that you've seen with YouTube? Is there a particular when you're targeting the channel? Is it is it the written ad, or is it a pre-roll video, mid-roll video? What is there?
I like the pre-roll video. I'm not the guy that tries all the newest, fanciest stuff. I am when it comes to technology.
Yep.
But when it comes to my ads, I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I like to stick to the basics. I like to stick to the old tried and true. I don't want any risk. So I just stick to the pre-roll. I make sure my first 5 seconds really drops a strong hook.
Yep.
And then I make sure that I am giving them, the biggest thing is don't make your YouTube ads look like an ad. Because if you've ever watched, I love watching my kids use YouTube. My daughter, when she's watching YouTube, her finger is hovering over where the skip ad button is. So, and that's your customer. They're hovering over the skip ad. They're just waiting for the time when they can finally get rid of your stupid ad. Yeah. So you better not have a stupid ad. It needs to be something that makes them pull their finger away.
Yeah. And now typically this is something, and this is slightly off topic, but I'm fascinated by it. Have you heard of people who are filling webinars from YouTube pre-roll, or should you be setting them somewhere differently?
No, I love YouTube ads for webinars. I think everybody wants that paid ad to webinar.
Yeah.
It's the glory, you can use a webinar to sell a $2,000 product, and you can have paid ads that are just filling it for you all the time. It's the ultimate dream of internet marketing. You never have to get on the phone. You do this one sales funnel. You make the big money, but so rare does that actually work. Everybody's modeling it after. There's probably 3 to 5 guys that have actually made it work, and everybody else is trying to make it work. So it looks like everybody's doing it, but I've gotten to see behind the scenes. I'm not going to name any names. A lot of people are struggling with just paid to webinar because that's a huge commitment. You're talking about people that don't know you, and now they have to commit to this event, remember to come to the event. There's a lot of numbers that go into it. So what I like to do, it does work, but you have to give them buy-in. They got to want to show up to the webinar. And so if you show them a cool little 3 to 5 minute tip, and they're like, wow, that was really cool. They're naturally thinking, I want to learn more. And then you end your 3 to 5 minute tip with, hey, if you like this tip, I'm actually hosting a 1-hour web class on Thursday where I go into this even more in depth, and I'm going to cover this and this. Now this person's like, heck yeah. They're printing out your page. They're taping it to their mirror in the bathroom because this is the most important thing for them this week now.
That is fantastic. So that goes to, and we might sort of jump into the top 5 a little bit here. Huge hullabaloo right now. Not surprising to anybody who's been around the block a few times, but Facebook dropped the hammer on Bitcoin advertising. There was a lot of Bitcoin ads. There was a lot of ads around it, and it's funny because the reasons and the political we could spend a whole podcast on the reasons for that. But something that you noted, I think, in your response when you were putting this to, and I should say, I didn't, because I'm so familiar with Justin, I didn't really build you up as much as I should. You have run campaigns for just the stars and monsters of direct marketing advertising. You have done them all, and I'm not even going to go through it because it takes so long to point out, and the people you provide ad people to, Agora, Ryan, little buddy Ryan Dice, and all that crew.
Help train Perry's daughters,
all of his team.
Digital marketers team, behind the scenes for a lot of the big guys.
For huge. So just to point that out. But this thing that you pointed out is that it was essentially, and do you want to let's just look at it. So Facebook have done this ban, and could you just summarize what you put in that post yesterday in terms of, okay, here's the thing. Give us your view of it and what your reaction is.
So, the gist of it is it needed to happen. Like, even as a cryptocurrency investor myself, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. You really have to be careful in this cryptocurrency world. And so that's an investor like me saying it. And then, so we know that somebody has to put some rules together, in order for this to ever become a legitimate thing. And we want it to become a legitimate thing. So there has to be some level of rules around this. Well, the government has to step in because consumers are getting scammed. And then ad networks have to step in because people are advertising scams. And that can't happen. Now, we're not saying Bitcoin itself is a scam. Or
no.
What I'm saying is there's a lot of others that are trying to ride that wave and make themselves look like legitimate things. And we need these gatekeepers to help keep out the bad people. That's why we have gates and security. And so it's going to get real tight at first. It's just going to be this big blanket thing to just stop the bleeding. And then they're going to figure out what's good, what's right. It takes them time to write up the rules and the policies and train their ad reviewers. It takes time to create the processes and systems to make this better. But right now, the ban hammer's on everyone. But the big problem is that people aren't learning, these slaps over and over. It's the same reason. It's that people are trying to trick the consumer. You're trying to force feed your product down people's throats. It's like the moment you have an ability to have an impression on somebody, the average advertiser is like, look, here's my product. Come buy my product. Here it is. But that's not what the users want. And so, as I wrote in there, is that the advertiser, are not the customer of the ad network. Even though it makes you feel like it is because you're paying the money, you're not their customer. The user is their customer. You are just the way that they're monetizing it. So just like your email list, the affiliate products that you put in there are not your customers. They're not your subscribers. They're not the people you love the most. Your subscribers are the people you love the most. On Facebook, their users are their subscribers. They have to protect that community. If they don't, there would never be anybody to advertise to. So you have to play their game, and their game, they say it right on their principles page. We want to serve ads that are as relevant and as useful as the other content they see around it. It can't be said any more simpler than that.
No, and so if you have, and so if you have and this goes for you, like we were talking about YouTube, this goes for Facebook, goes for anything else. If you have, and as you say, the holy grail is to fill a webinar with leads. We love, because if we get people on the webinar, we know those systems work, right? They really work. That's why people love it. We just want people on our webinars. Please come on our webinars, right? So instead of slamming that down their throat, and as you say, they've never heard of you from a bar of soap. Unbelievably, most people have not heard of you, and so if that ad is offering something which is, as you say, 3 to 5 minutes of wow content, and then at the end of that, hey, I'm doing an hour of this. Do you want to attend? That approach fits in with looking after, caring for, having a customer. And by the way, of course, and we're going to come up to this in a second, but retargeting and all of those sorts of things means that you're building lists anyway, right? This is one of the things I learned from you, and we'll come on to this maybe a bit later after the top 5, is maybe email lists. I know I've been doing it for 20 years. Email list, build your list. Maybe there are other list building things that we should be looking at in this modern day and age as well, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's get back to so we've had YouTube targeting your competitors' channels, and that is super cool, right? And the beautiful thing about YouTube at the moment is they have, and this is why Facebook are not worried about banning things, because they've got and it's impossible to think, right? You think they've got a ad capacity problem, right? They've got too many ads for the space on the paper. Like a paper has only so much space for ads, right? And Google had this problem, right, way back. And that was one of the big motivations for Google Slaps. And with this Bitcoin stuff, that's one of the motivations as well, because of the changes in newsfeed. It means that Facebook ads in themselves are going to get more expensive because there's just literally not enough space. You think it's digital ad, but it's digital. It all right things, but it's not.
There's only 2 ways for them to make more money.
Yeah.
Get rid of ads they don't want and increases the price of the ones that they do.
That's it, because they're at capacity. And YouTube at the moment is real value because they're nowhere near their ad capacity, right? So this is exciting. And indeed, some of the corporates, because the corporates are just throwing money at it, they're getting burnt because they're going on to, just big YouTube. They're looking for big audiences. And then, a big YouTuber goes and films somebody who's committed suicide or something like that. And all of a sudden their brands say, oops. Right. So it is crazy. Okay. Here we go. Facebook, number 3. Facebook WCA ads targeting people who reach your sales page but did not order. Okay, so explain this, and just a couple of definitions for people too. What's a WCA stands for, and explain what explain number 3 for us.
Sure. So WCA is website custom audience. Just like you can create a custom audience of uploading your email list, you can create a website custom audience, which is, there's a lot of different rules you can set it up. It could be all visitors that came to your website. It could be visitors that came to a certain page. It could be visitors that came to this page plus this page.
Yep.
Or they went to this page but did not go to this page, which leads into the rule here. So what we're doing is we're setting up a rule in Facebook that says, all right, look, my pixel's on the page, on all the pages. I want you to create a custom audience of people that have landed on sales page, but did not land on thank you page. Okay. And so what do we know about these people? We know that they've engaged in our, whatever it may be, our email list, our blog post, our social media, word of mouth, somehow or another, they reached our sales page, but they did not order. This is just about the only better audience would people that landed on your order page, but did not order, And so those are people who almost ordered, but for whatever reason, maybe the kid was crying in the background or dinner was ready. They didn't complete the order. Same thing here with the sales page, but did not order. And a lot of people take the mentality of, oh, well, if they went to my sales page and didn't order, that means that they didn't like it. No, it doesn't always mean that. Sometimes when I'm ready to buy something, I'll keep the order page open in a tab for 3-4 days just because I didn't have my wallet on me, or I hadn't asked my wife yet if it was okay, or, there's so many reasons why somebody doesn't buy right away.
Yeah.
You shouldn't think that everybody that hit that page, I would say probably, I don't want to guess too high, but I would say anywhere from 10 to 30% of the people who visit your sales page but did not order were interested, but they just didn't get enough to buy, or timing wasn't right. And so that's why you follow up with them with this campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a Facebook unit that you can use as custom audience, and anybody who reaches your sales page. And I think the part of this, using pixels instead of emails. And when we say pixel, just for anybody who's confused by that, it's a little tracker, or it's a little device which lets Facebook know, and vicariously that somebody who is a Facebook user has hit your site, and then you can create audiences for this.
There's no identifiable information or anything like that. It just this user. Yeah,
this user. But what then they allow you to do is build this website custom audience to be able to follow up with people, and then do create ads that are based on a follow up, which is just a fantastic way to do things. So that's, I think that's a fabulous one. So that was number 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, actually, before we go off Facebook, a lot of because Facebook ads have been, they've been the king of the hill really for the last couple of years, for a lot of people, particularly a lot of people starting out, because they're relatively easy and cheap to test, and they're doing there's a lot of hubbub about as we said, the increase in price, and perhaps one of the reasons they can free up space is to get rid of ads that they're not 100% that they love. Talk to us about that a little bit, Justin, in terms of, your view. Where do you, and from an ad skills perspective, where do you see Facebook in the mix? Give us a couple of bullet points on that.
So Facebook wants to be a micro-targeting platform. You always got to look at the tool and then understand, what's this tool trying, why was this tool designed? Mm-hmm. Google was much more designed to be a very broad advertising platform. All of their targeting, they have now since added on micro-targeting because they see the demand for it from Facebook. But Google, from the get-go, was a very mass targeting platform outside of their search. But even search, people wanted to get access to the big keywords in the beginning. So Facebook wants to be a micro-targeting platform.
Yeah. So when you say micro-targeting, what's your definition?
Yeah, I'm going to explain that. So,
yeah, cool.
What people are trying to do with Facebook is they want to put a bunch of keywords in there and advertise to, a million people. Facebook wants you to instead narrow it down to this little subsegment of really highly engaged people that when they see the ad, it's extremely relevant to them. Because remember, their principle, the thing hanging in their ad review room, literally, I've been told that there's a banner in this room that says our ads should increase the value of the user experience. Mm. And so, and they care about relevance and usefulness of the ads. So they don't want you to be creating these very broad ads targeting lots and lots of people. They want you to be creating very relevant ads to a small group of people. That's what this network wants to do. And they've provided every single tool for you to be able to do that, from pixels to even now they have a relevance score that they give you in the dashboard, custom audiences, ways to even, with their lookalike audiences, you can even narrow in. Do you want it to be really lookalike or just a little bit lookalike? You can really slice and dice things. And that's what the network is built to do. That's what they want you to do. And if everybody does that, they don't have an ad inventory problem, because there's lots of segments. But if everybody's trying to advertise to everybody, then they have an inventory problem.
Got it. Yep. And so it's not that Facebook's dying. It's not that it's the ads are losing effectiveness. It's
Mhm.
there's and it's human nature. If people see something working, then they jump all over it, right? They want to jump on it.
And people don't have the time to study it in depth either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and people have certainly caught up to that, but it's as part of your strategy, and there's potentially, as you said, there's some lower hanging fruit here, and this part of Facebook ad targeting is certainly lower hanging fruit. So it's not that it sucks; it's that let's look at ways that we can collect leads and get people to our product, to our service, to test our market.
The average person, they're looking at like, what one place can I advertise to that's going to crack the code for me?
Yeah.
Like, which one is the hot thing? The way I look at it, after been doing this for 12 years and tens of thousands of hours, tens of millions of dollars spent, I look at it as each network has like this little thing that it can do better than anything else. And those things, that's what these 5 were. It was like, what are the 5 like free money things that I can do on these networks? And I'm trying to tell you exactly where the free money's at.
Here we are. So speaking, let's serve up number 4 of free money, which is Google display ads using custom affinity audience targeting your competitors' visitors. Now, this just, first of all, I'm going, geez, even I have no idea what a custom affinity audience is on Google, but I'm just loving the sound. And what's Google display ads, and where do Google display ads show? So break this down, and then give us because I'm just saying my back spidey senses are just all over this.
This one's probably my favorite of all. Okay, let me break it down. So Google display ads.
Yep.
Those are the banner ads you see all across the web. You go on USA Today, you go on Huffington Post, wherever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're in forums, they're everywhere.
Yeah. So people often associate those ads with retargeting, like because we've been through the retargeting phase. This is Google display ads. This is their this is another thing that people can, like web publishers, can get an ad and hopefully get some revenue from Google. Cool.
Yeah, if I wanted to, I could target Forbes.com, but only on pages that talk about digital marketing as a keyword. Or with custom affinity audiences, now you can say, hey, Google, because you know everything about everyone, I want you to make me an audience of people who visit website 1, website 2, website 3, website 4, whatever. Yeah, don't do too many of them. Keep them in groups of 5 to 20.
Yeah.
Particularly the 5 to 20 competitor websites in your market.
Yeah.
And then so you're telling Google, okay, these people that visit these websites, I want you to show them my ads wherever they go.
Yeah.
And then you can layer on another targeting of that. You can make yourself look rich and famous by saying, show my ads to these people that visit these type of websites, but only show them on Forbes.com and Rob Report and whatever, very fancy websites.
Yep. Or if you're in if you're in the skateboarding niche, you skateboard USA, you pick the influential places, the places where everybody goes.
Right, exactly. And so this is just a beautiful thing because you can target people who are going to your competitors' websites, and there's nothing your competitors can do about it. You don't have to ask permission. They can't stop it. They likely don't even know that this exists.
Yep.
And
are you able to? I'm not sure if you'd even want to do this, but obviously Google have a pixel as well, right? The equivalent of a pixel. So are you able to mix and match that with affinity audiences, or is that sort of a bridge too far? It's not what you really need to do.
You can. I wouldn't do that in the same. I wouldn't layer that way.
No.
I would layer as just where do you want them? So who do I want and where
Yeah.
is the most layering I do. When you start layering more than that, you really get to too few impressions.
Yeah.
The
That
volume
makes total
isn't
sense.
worth the work.
Yeah. So these are people who visit this, and this website. And where do you want to show up? I want to show up on this, and this website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. That is so good. It's crazy, right? It's just I often get a bit misty-eyed about Gary Halbert, and I just wonder what devastation, if in his prime, he would have wrought if he had access to this
I
sort
think
of...
about that all the time, like John Caples and Claude Hopkins, David Ogilvy. Like, if they were around right now, they wouldn't be doing the simple stuff that everybody else is doing. Like, we have an amazing environment for advertising right now.
Yeah. No, it is extraordinary, and that actually brings us to number 5, which I love this because I love clever. I really love clever. And
I forget what 5 is.
And don't worry. Yes. Twitter ads targeting relative industry conference hashtags during the event. I love this because this goes to your point. Each platform has its merits, and a lot of people, are down on Twitter at the moment for all sorts of reasons. I love Twitter; it's one of the things you guarantee that I'll look at every.
Stock prices is up.
Yeah, exactly right. So but this is great. Talk to me about this, and I think this one is people intuitively get this, but let's break it down.
All right, so Twitter ads is very, very much like Facebook ads. I mean, on Facebook ads, you have custom audiences. On Twitter, you have similar audiences, or I forget what. It's extremely similar. I mean, when you use it, you know that they built this after Facebook ads. So if you know Facebook ads, you know Twitter ads, just they kind of move the buttons a little bit differently and they use different colors, but it's all the same.
Yeah.
Now, what's different is because one of the main ways that people use Twitter is hashtags. It's where hashtags came from. Is Twitter. Conferences in particular usually say, if you're going to talk about our event today or during the event, use this hashtag so that everybody can kind of follow along the conversation.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're creating a trade floor, digital trade floor out on the web, and you get to jump right in for 20 cents a click or whatever it may be. By targeting these various hashtags, your ad is going to show up to anybody who is using or browsing these hashtags.
Yeah, and just knowing, and particularly when if you're talking about industry, and it could be any industry, like the most engaged people are the ones who are looking at the hashtags, right? They're exactly like I could see this not only just for lead generation or building an audience, but if you talk about if you were spending money to get influence, this is one of the ways to do it, right? I think this is one of the number one ways to do it because
authors should be doing this all the time.
Absolutely. Yep. It's because it's just such a way to establish.
I hate naming one thing because then people are gonna be like, "Oh, this only works for authors." It works for so much more.
Yeah, of course.
That's just one of the no dub, ones that should absolutely be used. But like I said in my article, you would be remiss to jump into the party. That's what you have to understand is advertising to the hashtags is very similar to walking up to a circle of people. Now, you're not going to walk up to a circle of people that are having a conversation and start demonstrating your product. No, you should, hi, I'm Justin Brooke. I do this. What do you all, you need to jump in with some value, join the conversation, and let it progress to the next parts.
Yes. Yep. And that is a great, it's those sort of analogies. Facebook is a party, and Twitter is like a it's an extended conference, it's like sort of people have just broken from whatever session they've been in, and they're chatting about what the highlights of that session was. And if you come in there going, "Hey, how you going? I've got this
it
great
slices and it dices.
Oh, look at this. Check this out. This is going to make you squillions. This is awesome.
Right.
Come and get my free stuff." You're not going to be appreciated, right? So, you've got to put yourself in that mindset to do that. This has been just amazing, Justin. This has been great. So now what I like to do is I like to do a bit of a challenge with guests. And the challenge is, if you were starting off in a niche, we usually use underwater kickboxing as our favorite. So you were somebody who was into underwater kickboxing. You wanted to create you were just starting out and you needed to build traffic, test the market. How would you go about starting if you were starting from scratch? You had some resources, but not like, you're not huge, not like some of your clients who are spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. People are just starting out. How would you go about starting out in today's day and age?
All right. So the very first thing I would do is I would write an article. Well, I'd probably do some market research first, because you don't really know what article to write unless you know what the market wants to read.
Yep.
So first, try to figure out what is a problem that the market has, or a question that the market has.
Yep.
And then I'm going to write an article about that very thing. And I'm doing this right now, in fact. So I know that my market, advertisers, they want to see ads that have been successful. And so I wrote a blog post, 10 online ads that have made millions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be hard. You just need to do a little bit of research to understand what is it that they want, and then write an article about it, and then you provide a content upgrade.
Yeah.
And so the upgrade is for mine, while I was researching these 10 ads, I actually researched 50. Do you want to download the PDF that shows you all 50 ads instead of just the 10 here?
Yep.
And it converts like gangbusters. I mean, I get as high as 85% opt-in rate from people who visit that page, because it's just a natural next step. They want to see more ads.
And that's the key. That's what's so genius about, and I really want to highlight what Justin just said. They came and they saw 10 ads that have made millions. Then the content upgrade, what a great word. I'm going to be using that all the time. The content upgrade is, hey, I've got 10, but here's 50. Right. And you've already seen the cut of my jib here. You've seen, I'm legit. Here's 10 cool ads. I've just delivered value to you. So it's like a no-brainer to get, I get 10, 5 times more of this. Thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely. And that's a person who wants to be on your list.
Yeah, yeah.
They weren't forced. They decided, I want what this guy has. I already like what he has. I want more of it.
Yeah.
Is a very different frame of mind versus someone who's opting in because, let me see what's behind here. Let me see if
I'm intrigued. But I'm sort of sneaking around the corner. Oh, okay. Right. I'm giving you my email it's not with joy. It's with, so I love that. Okay. So you've created an article. How do we get people to that article?
I started with this. I usually I started my ad agency with this. I restarted ad skills with this. I mean, I go back to this. I actually I got my very first sale online with this because I originally learned about article marketing from the Rich Jerk way long time ago, And so, I couldn't afford hosting or a website. I didn't know any of that stuff. But I could write an article, and I posted on, I think it was Go Articles at the time. And then in my signature, it was if you want more of this, go here.
Yep.
So, same thing. I've done this over and over and over again. And back then, I didn't really know how to do SEO or marketing or whatever, but I knew that like Google existed, and I knew that they would let me pay them. And so for $2 a day, I got started.
Yep.
Today, it's a little different. You're not selling 5-cent clicks anymore. No. So instead of $2 a day, you might need to do $5 or $10 a day.
Yeah.
But absolutely 1,000% works. I would do it again if you took everything away from me tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. That's what I do now, anyways. Even when you don't take away my stuff, like
you don't go drop 10 grand on something. You test it out, and you test it out small. So you would use so in terms of the first place you would go to send, like, to buy some traffic and test it, you would use Google.
It depends. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, whatever somebody's going to be more comfortable with is the right answer. I'm going to use Google because I've been using Google for 10, 12 years now. So, but if somebody's more comfortable with Facebook or really this strategy works phenomenal on Twitter, but I've said that a million times and nobody listens to me on that one.
Well, I'm going to listen to you. I'm not silly.
The thing about Twitter is it can be more expensive than Facebook, but people aren't usually tracking the revenue. And I find that while my ads are more expensive on Twitter, I'm usually getting a higher quality customer from Twitter.
That tracks with what my experience of Twitter is, because if I think about my most engaged parts of my audience, that it tracks with people. So that absolutely makes sense. This also absolutely then fits in, and I imagine if article writing is not your thing, then this could be a YouTube video. This could be right. It's so
audio.
Yeah. Yes.
A
podcast.
scribble like what you're doing right now. Yeah. Andre Chaperone's great at creating these diagrams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your thing, it just needs to be a piece of content, something that the market wants.
Yeah. So that's how you would start, and you'd start building your list that way. That makes absolute that makes sense, and that reminds me of another post that you did earlier in the year of just understanding the fundamentals. Actually, before we go back to that, because that might be a great place to end on. You mentioned, we've mentioned webinars and filling webinars. Is there a particular place that you think, because obviously Facebook's been the go-to for that, and as you say, it's been run over roughshod, right? So is it use any of the strategies that you use today, but instead of selling them direct into the webinar, get them to make the webinar, to use your term, the content upgrade?
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we talked about with YouTube.
Yeah.
We're kind of doing the exact same process right here.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, we were giving them a video. And then at the end of the video, we said, hey, if you like that and you want some more of this, you know where I get it from? It's the way that they sell chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
They give you one cookie. You go to the bakery, they give you a cookie, you eat it, you're like, that's delicious. Yeah. Would you like a box? We happen to sell them. Yeah. So it's exactly that same strategy, whether you do it with video, whether you do it with audio, text, whatever is easiest for you to create, and then whatever ad network you're going to be most comfortable with. I tell people, if you're going to learn one place, well, first of all, one is the most dangerous number. We know that. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. But if you're going to master one place, you should probably master the one place that's going to give you the most reward for once you unlock it. Well, Facebook, the problem with mastering Facebook is you unlock it, you have a ceiling. You hit that ceiling very quick. And the thing that people don't really realize is, because a lot of people struggle for a long time, like if you were to draw the graph, it's like struggle. Whoa, like when you figure it out, like when you get that one campaign that works, it scales up very quickly. And the problem that a lot of people have is they choose an ad network where the ceiling is so low. Well, with Google Display Network, I've been doing it for Google Display Network. I've been doing Google Display Network since before it was called Google Display Network.
Yep.
It was called site targeting back then. I have not found the ceiling. I have spent $65,000 per day. I've driven 100,000 clicks per day. I've not found the ceiling yet. I want to, I want to know where is the top. Yep. And so that's what that's why I really hammer Google Display Network to people. Yes, it's harder. It's going to be trickier. But, man, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just did have a quick question, and then we'll wrap it up. With when we were talking about the YouTube ads, and we were talking about the content upgrade for a YouTube ad, you're doing a pre-roll ad, and are you typically popping up a button to send them to a landing page or sending them to one of your own videos? What's the...
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Lately, what we're doing that's working best is a text this number to subscribe or whatever.
Wow.
Because
yes.
A lot of people are watching these on their phone, or they're watching them on their Xbox, or they usually have a phone in their hand at the time that they're watching a YouTube. But what they don't always have is a way to click the screen. I watch all of my YouTube from my Xbox in my room.
Yes.
People are like, click here, click there. Bro, I can't click nowhere.
Yeah. Yep.
So two things that we do that work really well is either like build a little mini site.
Yep.
A new domain name where like the mini site, the only purpose of it is to deliver a free thing and maybe give a couple pieces of content.
Yep.
And then drive all your traffic from YouTube to that little like eddaleisawesome.com.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or use a text 411-382, whatever.
Yep.
Those two call to actions work best.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Michael Zeibel, for that little prompt. That's really good. Okay, here's where I wanted to finish up with today.
And link in the description. Always link in the description.
Sorry. Yep. Link in description. Yep. Absolutely. So here's where I want to, I think I've said on at least 4 occasions during this, I haven't even heard of this. I haven't even done this. And allegedly I know 1 or 2 things about this whole direct marketing game, right? Mm-hmm. And the point I sort of wanted to get across here with Justin too was that, look, back in showing my age a little bit, but in The Graduate, and Dustin Hoffman gets his piece of advice, son, get into plastics, and if I was talking, and I think you mentioned Perry's kids, I'm teaching my kids, right? This is a this is going to be, you do advertising well, you're never going to want for cash, right? There is. As
2017, the internet became the largest advertising channel above print, above TV. Yep. The internet's the big show now.
Yeah, but if you look at the number of people who are in full-time employment in all the other medias combined compared to this, there's a massive imbalance. So if rather than do like I did and stack shelves and deliver medicine through college, I'm getting my because the kids have a natural aptitude to this. This is a great career, right? This is, and frankly, a more lucrative career than being a doctor or being a lawyer or any of those sorts of things.
You do it from anywhere, and the pay ranges from 60 to 100,000, depending on how good you are.
Yeah, right. And then once you've got your stripes, then you can start doing your own stuff, right? And that's
you start making that per month.
That's right. So I love it as a career. And listen to me, because it's an art and a science. It's a real profession. Now, having said that, most of my audience, most of you listening or watching, are people who are passionate about underwater kickboxing, you're passionate about pottery valuation, that's your thing, right? That's where you need to focus on. You need to understand what are the problems in your market. That's your job. Creating the content and the content upgrades that people understand and love. That is your designing the campaigns, using an E5 or something. That's your worth. That's where you add value. And I honestly think the moment that you can afford to get somebody to do this stuff for you makes a hell of a lot of sense. It really does. Dean Jackson talks about the who, not how, right? If I can find somebody, and fortunately I do this already. This is not an ad. This is something I do. Justin with adskills.com, and I'll get you to explain it a little bit, has this amazing matching network where you can tell people, here's my budget, here's what I'm trying to do, and you train on the other side. I love this. You train up people, and that's what adskills.com is all about. So can you talk to, there'll be two types of people listening to this. People are going, you know what, I'm a huge fan of pay to train. I talk this about in the challenge all the time. I'm not a fan of these burn the ships. I think that sucks as a strategy. It adds stress. It adds all sorts of problems, but I'm a huge fan of pay to train. So, and I can't tell you how many challenge people over the years have gone on to do ad agencies or do AdWords or stuff to learn this stuff, pay to train, while they're getting ready to do whatever they want to do. May as well get skills in an area that you are learning and getting value. So can you bring us, and Welton Hong, who is a great client of mine, is just saying, love the Ad Skills Matching Network, found my Facebook Ads Manager through the network, right? So tell me a little bit about Ad Skills, what you do, and the matching network as well, Justin.
So, I stopped counting at 5,000 customers, but we have a lot of media buyers inside Ad Skills. And some of them are doing it for their own business. Rightfully so. They're trying to learn how to do this so that they can propel their own business. But the other half are doing it either because they want to start it as a career, or they already have this as a career and they're trying to always stay at the top of their game.
Which you need to do.
Right, exactly.
Changing all the time.
And all of those people, they need clients and jobs. And so we regularly reach out to companies and tell them, hey, we've got a lot of, people at all different levels. We have people that can handle ad campaigns in the $1 million plus range. And we have brand new people who are just looking for their very first client, and they don't even know what to charge yet. So you can find people who know all of this stuff that I've just explained here because they just learned it all over the last 8 weeks in our program. And they're looking for someone who will allow them to start working on this stuff and do it. And so we have people at all the different levels of beginner, intermediate, and super, super high advanced. And we do that for free. I know that I could get paid a lot of money as a job recruiter, but I make my money on the training side. That's what I'm passionate about. I left my agency, fired all of my clients because I realized there was way more clients than I could ever handle. And the real problem was helping these people find somebody in-house that can manage them, or, and so, that's what I'm passionate about. I just really love placing new media buyers with great companies.
It's actually genius because as I keep saying, people, the value is not in the people keep saying, well, what's your protection? What's your edge? And your edge is never content. Your edge is never a product, or because they can be copied and repeated and made better in 24 hours. That's the world we're living in. You know what you can't replace is the network of people, right? That is the value, right? So I think what you're doing at AdSkills is brilliant. So if and I've got to say I love using beginners. What's your advice for people like using so somebody who's gone through the train, you as a thing, what's your advice in hiring somebody who's starting from scratch? Because there's a risk, right? You're going, is this person good? Is this I hired one just the other day. There you go. So
that's how good they are. Like I hire them myself.
Yeah. So how do you go about, and this is the thing I love about entrepreneurs, we're a funny bunch, and we have this, we're either hesitant, but then it's all of a sudden we go in all guns blazing, we go crazy. And so people go from never having somebody, they've always done the ads themselves, right? And then they go to, oh, please handle everything. I'm suggesting there's a middle. I'm suggesting there's some steps. There's some steps there, right? You can just hire somebody. Tell me if this is a strategy. Just hire somebody as a do one little thing. Take one of the 5 things that we've talked about here, and get somebody to. How would you go about doing it if you was your first steps in working with somebody to do your ads for you to make it safe for people?
So the way that I do it is also the way that I train them to do it. I only know one way. I only know the way that has worked for me. So that's what I teach.
Yep.
And so the way that I do it is I use, and we call it an ad approval document, worksheet, whatever. And on that, like 1-page document at the top, it has product name, tracking link, demographics, interests. So like, what are we targeting? So what's the product? What's the tracking link we're going to use? Because it's vital pieces of information. And then the next part's down. It says, where are we going? Who are we targeting? Age, gender, all that stuff. And then like, what are the interest targeting or keywords that we're going to use? And then down below that is what's the headlines we're going to use, the descriptions, and then we attach 3 images to the document. And so me hiring a beginner, I manage the strategy because they're not capable of that yet. They haven't done it enough yet. And that's where a lot of people go wrong when they're hiring a beginner, is they think that person's going to come up with all the ideas. You're supposed to be the idea person. Yeah. They're the keyboard warrior that understands the network and is going to go push all the buttons for you. And that's the value that they bring to the table. You're going to tell them, I want to advertise this product to these people using this kind of strategy. Yeah. And then they're going to go off and deploy that for you and give you weekly reports. And then you're going to tell them, make sure we're keeping our CTR at this level. We can't have our cost per customer go above this level. So you're kind of giving them the structure that they need to follow, but they're doing all the work and the time intensive stuff for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such good advice. I'm so glad we got that because, you're hiring somebody who's starting out from the gate, so it is very cost effective, but you need to do the strategy. And my point to everybody is strategy. You like my incredible artwork. I tried not to get people get so intimidated by my art, Justin. It's very, they think I can't possibly do this but this is what my strategy is what we're talking, I think I did little diagrams back before, right? So, I'm scribbling out, okay, this is what I need to do. That's the strategy, right? So narrow subsets. So who are my micro targets, right? That's something that all of you know, right? That is something that that's what you should know. And as Justin pointed out, if you don't know that, then that's a market research job that you need to absolutely go for, right? So that you've got the taste, how to build strategy. And there are plenty of roadmaps available to you for different strategies. These people are helping the execution because otherwise, and what I see people do is they spend 20, 30 hours, 40 hours struggling with Facebook to try get a campaign going. And that's just wasted time. Whereas you could have got somebody who for them, it was a 20-minute job because they know which buttons to push. Right. I have a
1-hour call per month with my person. And then during the week, we just have an email and, pivot like this or keep everything the same or stop it all. Those are more rare.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So, Justin, thank you so much for today. This was absolutely brilliant. I knew it was going to be awesome. And look, there'll be links for all of Justin's stuff in the show notes and in the description of the video. It's adskills.com, which is the best place to send people to, right? That's AdSkills. They'll find all the stuff.
Yeah, there's 2 buttons at the top, browse courses or start for free, and that puts you on the newsletters.
Yeah, and can I say, Justin's newsletter and Justin's Facebook content is some of the most that is content as a business owner, as somebody who's saying you need to be getting each day, because you need to understand that there are new strategies coming on, and then you work with what I do is find somebody on AdSkills to execute that particular strategy, right? Because they'll do it much better than I ever could. And my time's much more valuable in terms of coming up with the strategies for these things. So thank you so much. And
thanks for having me on.
No worries, mate. And that's very good. And before you go, I did say that I was going to give us your 10-second Monster Hunter. Is the hype justified? Is it fun? Is it awesome? Or
amazing game. You're biting into a big project though. This is a game that you're going to play all year. This is not a game that you're just going to like pick up and put down. If you're looking for a quick game, that's not what this is.
That is definitely not there. That's my problem at the moment, right? There are so many awesome, and I've got very limited time, sadly, to play. So I've got to, you've got to.
But if you're looking for that game that's going to give you like unlimited replayability and story and just progress, because there's all kinds of new weapons and gear and new levels, like that's what this game is. You'll play this game all year long. But you're not going to just like pick it up real quick.
Fantastic. All right, mate. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. And we'll speak all soon.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay. See you, mate. Bye-bye.